Welcome back to Rise and Shine. If you just joined in, good morning to you. And it's a Friday morning. It's great to have you on board as well. And as we promised, we have someone special in the studio, and this is none other than Gayan Pera. He's the head coach of the team New Start. Now, he's going to take you through a journey where he can transform your body naturally and make you slim than you are. I know that's the Sri Lankan dream out there, because everybody wants to get slim, including myself, and I don't know.
Myself as well. So.
You guys are great. Well, so again, first things first, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. And we're glad to have you as well. So let's talk about fitness. Just define how you just like to, fitness in your senses.
In fitness, okay, in my standards, fitness, it's different from person to person, person's perspective. For me, it's fitness mean being healthy and have good body composition, so meaning looking good as well. So that's what we all want, right? So basically being healthy human being and looking good and be able to do day-to-day activities actively, right?
Right,
So,
that's about that's about the definition of how it is to be fit. All right, so Vijni?
Yes, so again, talking from Sri Lankan context, well, we see a lot of Sri Lankans nowadays, they are more towards, getting, doing exercises, the day-to-day exercises. But sometimes still people have, various kind of issues. But, we'll talk about the issues as we go on. But in general, why do you think that Sri Lankans, they just get fat?
Right. I think it's not just Sri Lanka. It's a major issue anywhere in the world right now.
So isn't rice?
It's not rice. That's the good news, right? It's not rice. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So after working with so many Sri Lankans and helping them to lose weight and lose fat and get the best body composition possible, what the major issues I see is we were taught wrong in school. That's the main issue. So we were told to eat a bunch of carbohydrates, fats and very little protein, and that's fine when you're in school and when you're very active. When we go to school, like we were very active, right? We even in the lunchtime we go to ground and we play. We kept a very healthy lifestyle. But the problem happens once you finish school and when you come to work, right? As you age, your metabolism automatically slows down and your activities pretty much disappear, right? So if you're working in, we don't do physical activities anymore. So we work in offices, right, most of the time, and we still keep eating the way we've been eating, or most of the time it gets worse, because when you start work, you go to parties and you don't have time to cook. You eat outside. Then the issue is you keep doing that, and our metabolism has slowed down, our activities have slowed down. There's a lot of energy coming in, and we are not really spending much energy. It's a basic law of thermodynamics, so you can't create or destroy energy. It's excess energy coming in. It has to store somewhere, right? So in this case, it goes to the fat cells.
Okay, all right. So like Gayan did mention, I think it's a matter of changing your lifestyle as well, because what we think is okay, we have to be continuing the same process how we have been taking it throughout our earlier days. But as you go on to work and then maybe at your later stages, I think the lifestyle entirely has to change drastically.
Exactly. So yes, with everything, like nothing lasts forever. Like even if you start a diet, most people look for perfect diet and perfect workout plan. Let's say it doesn't exist, but let's say it did exist. Even if it did exist, you do that for 1 or 2 weeks, then it will become less effective because your body adapts, right? Then you have to change.
All right, so you're saying doing the same thing over and over again is not going to work. You have to keep changing according to your metabolism.
Absolutely. So it's when I work with clients, basically most of the time I change their nutrition most of the time every single week.
Right. All right, so that answers a lot of things, I think, changes a lot of things. Right. So let me also ask you, why is it so hard? Because, people have been trying, you see all these weird products on TV, they're advertising to have this and have that, cut off part of piece of your stomach sometimes to make sure that you get less food inside. Why is it so hard? Because gaining weight is so easy. You just eat something and you just, puff up, right?
100%.
Why is it so hard to lose weight?
Right. Okay. So as human, we share 99.9 the same genetic makeup, right? So between all of us, we share 99.9% same genetic makeup, and there's 0.1% difference, right? We have 500 quadrillion chemical process happening 24 hours a day, right?
Wow.
So that's quadrillion with 15 zeros. So that's a lot, right? So that's what 0.1% comes to about 5 quadrillion chemical process. So we are same, but at the same time we are very different from each other, right? So there's no one method work exactly the same for every single person. The problem is most of the time people when they want to lose weight or when they need something, they will go to a friend, someone been gymming for a while or something, then they jump online, they just get the general advice. So it doesn't really work all the time. If you need to get really good results, you really need to have a personalized approach because we all are different.
Right, so it actually depends on your identity, like your genetical identity, I think.
100%. So it's like we all have different fingerprints. Inside, even identical twins, still we are different.
Right.
I think that's where a lot of our people go wrong, that we think okay, a generalized thing would suit all of us, so
Yeah.
Exactly.
that's a natural thing, just go online, search for it, and then
Yeah.
you just follow a certain method. But just like Guy did mention, I think you have to follow a generalized concept for each of y'all, because it's different from person to person.
Yeah,
So
it has
Guy,
to be
do you think how that you can have a good physique just by having the Sri Lankan food? Because sometimes we tend to get things online,
Yeah.
maybe things from abroad.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
does it differ? How does it differ in that
Yeah,
sense?
exactly, because I've seen some people just buying broccoli and all these, quinoa seeds and all that, all those things to buy just to make sure that you lose weight. But in Sri Lanka, you can't buy them. You have, but then it could be really expensive in Sri Lanka, and it costs your whole life to get thin. So how do you measure
You
that?
brought up a very, very good point. You can get absolutely you can get results by eating Sri Lankan food. Most of my clients are Sri Lankans, right? Some of them live, most of them live overseas, but they're still Sri Lankan, right? We like Sri Lankan food. You can eat Sri Lankan food and get really good results. I can tell you that. If you don't like, there's no magic food. Like quinoa is not a magic food. Oats it's not a magic food. Broccoli is not a magic food, right? You don't have to have them, right? Rice is as good as quinoa, right? You don't have to pay heaps of money and get them overseas, right? You can do, rice would do the same job, right? It depends what you like and what's available for you, and again, cost is a major factor as well. That's why I said, like, if you take something online, then again, it's not personalized for you, right? So if you live in Sri Lanka, if you have no access to quinoa, I mean, there's no point you paying heaps of money and getting them from overseas when you have really good carb source here, rice, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because you bought this topic of rice now. Generally, our Sri Lankans, the mind conception is that, okay, if you have rice, you gain weight.
Yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't. Now, there are a certain set of people who eat rice, for all 3 meals.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that set of people, they skip rice completely.
Yeah.
So, how does that differ? Because people have this perception like, okay, if I eat rice, especially at night, that you gain weight. So, is it always the case?
No, not at all. Actually, I prefer having carbohydrates at night. So rice, almost all of my clients have some carbohydrate at night. Whether it's rice, potato, or sweet potato, something like that. I prefer to have them at night, just for the reason it just improves your sleep. So when you have carbohydrates, release something called a hormone called serotonin. It's a happy hormone, relax you and help you with good sleep. So this is I prefer to have them carbohydrate at night.
So
I know it's there's a lot of myths going around.
There are a lot of things, because you should not. You go to a dietitian or maybe some advisor. Don't eat rice. That's the main thing they say.
Well, look, you don't have to believe me. Like, look at my client's transformation.
We will have some pictures as well. We'll be showing them on screen as well about how he transforms really fat people to really thin people. So that's also coming up your way. And the next question I would like to ask is, like, you've been meeting. You're living in Australia. You flew down yesterday, and we'll be showing you some clips right now about some pictures. Meanwhile, we are talking.
Oh, that's one of my clients, Andrew. Actually, he's a personal trainer. He's a personal trainer, so yeah.
Wow.
Guess how old he is?
What happened?
That's 2 weeks.
Probably 30, around 45?
He's 40. So he basically came to me and said,
That's another one.
this is Asanka. Yeah, it's, I believe it's 16.
They must
It's
be
one
all
of my
watching.
clients.
Are they all watching?
I don't know. Actually, he's 41 years old.
Wow.
He competed as well.
So this is all natural, right?
That's Malit Pera, you know. all know.
That's him.
It's my client, Manoj. Actually, that's my 16 weeks transformation. Like, this is all natural. You can see this, you can change a lot of things if you do the right thing.
23 to, okay. That's just within 12 weeks.
That's 2 weeks, yes.
Wow. Vidushin, that's something you should.
I know. I was just like,
So that's what I mean. Like, if you do the right thing, you can. That's what fascinates about this subject as well. That's what keeps me make me keep learning as well. So it's very, very fascinating. There's a lot out there to learn. If you do the right thing, you can change a lot in a very short period of time. Yeah.
So if you follow your course, like the instructions you are giving, how long do you think it takes for a person to like get thin?
Right. It all depends, right? It all depends on where you start and where you want to go, right? Let's say
the pictures are different. The pictures you showed just so I think it's 12 weeks. 16
yeah,
weeks.
I like to do. Well, when you have a goal, you need to have a time frame, right?
Yeah.
So I like to do in 12 weeks and 24 weeks. Sometimes, in some cases, in between as well. And I do not do anything harmful to your body. So I do the healthiest way possible and to get the best results. So some people came to me and says, even yesterday someone called me and asked me, I want to lose 15 kilos in 2 months. I said, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to take you as a client because you probably can, but what happens most of the time is you do crazy things, and once you finish dieting, it will all rebound, or you probably will end up even worse place. So, yeah.
So I believe all these, transformations, it does have a lot of dedication as well. Now, people do have their, their own cheat days. So how does that really work along with this?
Right. So, obviously, like anything, if you want anything good, right, you need to have you have to do the work, right? Discipline. But again, so I personally work with the client. So everyone's different. I have some clients like robot clients, right? So you tell them, they do it, no problems. Then again, you have some clients, I'm struggling a bit, I need something to feel good. Then in that case, you change something, right? So you work with the person and you just really tailor that plan to that person. Yeah.
So the first thing, you are dealing with a lot of clients. Like I mentioned, you are from Australia, so you're dealing with Australians and some other nations as well.
Yeah.
So the first thing when you see a client, you meet someone at first and then you see their image and you measure their metabolism some other way. And what do you do first?
Right. The first thing I'll look at is their sleep, the quality of sleep and how long they sleep. Most of the time when you take care of, in my opinion, sleep is one of the, if not the least, most overlooked factor actually, both in muscle building and fat loss, right? That's the first thing I would look at. If they have a bad sleep, when you fix it, most of the time, most other problems disappear. Sleep is the first thing I look at.
Sleep is
it's just sleep, like not the eating patterns. That's later on.
That's later on. So it's the first. If your sleep is not right, I do not go any further before we fix the sleep. So right? There's no point.
Right. So according to you, what's the optimal number of hours?
Right. So according to the research, you need to have 7 hours quality sleep. Right. So when I say quality, you sleep tight to that. All right. So to have 7 hour good sleep, you have to be in bed for at least 8 hours. 8 right. Hours, you're not going to fall asleep. Some people do, but most people you need some time to fall asleep. Right. Yeah.
Exactly. So 8 hours of sleep.
So now
1 hour to struggle.
Which I think a lot of people, nowadays with their daily routine, which they really lack, I believe.
Yeah. So what I see is most of the time we are on our electronics and even our lights. It's really bright. What I like to do personally, I put my electronics away about 1 hour before bed, and I dim my light. Then I really prepare the sleeping mood. That's a really good way of doing it. mostly, yeah, especially for the younger generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, put your electronics away at least 1 hour before sleep.
Oh, yeah. So having the electronics in use before you sleep is going to mess up your sleep.
Absolutely, yes. This is the light. Yeah,
Right.
it's a bright light.
And how about the use of steroids? Now you've seen all these methods, chemical you inject or you have them through your oral means, and you, I don't know, so somehow you get your steroids inside you, and then magically they transform you. They're supposed to transform, but they are unhealthy, are they?
Right. Okay. So it's unhealthy means, okay. Steroids is obviously personal choice, right? What I see, especially if you're competing on a professional level, if you want to compete in Mr. Olympia or like in that level, steroids is something people has to take, right? It's a very common thing. It's not just in bodybuilding or in this field. Anywhere, it's any sport, a lot of people take them, at least 40%, and only 2% get caught. Steroids, what the problem is, the people do it professionally. They go through doctors and they go through doctor's supervision. They do it properly. What happens, what I see, especially younger generation in Sri Lanka, they go to gym and they tell, okay, I want fast results. What should I take? Then most of the time, it's the worst thing. Like a lot of trainers recommend jump on steroids because you can get fast results. I mean, it's the worst thing to do, right? It's if you do it like later in the life, once you max out your genetic potential, and if you just want to take it to the next level, it's a different story. But putting on a 19-year-old kid that does not know nothing, it's not okay, right? You are ruining this person's life, right? If you are a trainer watching, don't do it. You are ruining someone's life, right?
All right.
So I think it depends how this the younger generation also, like you said, when they want like fast results, they really don't understand the depth of they just want, okay, I just come today to you and then I need to lose weight tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. So everyone
like
wants
that.
fast results. So if you look at my clients' transformations, like most of us, our goal is not to compete in National Olympia, right? I mean, so Mr. Olympia, our goal is to get a good physique and improve our health. You don't need steroids for that, right? You can do without it, and it's a safe way to do that.
Right, so quoting something you mentioned earlier, I remember that you saying that no, guy on right, if you're looking for reasons to follow him, he's been in all stages, right? You've been fat, you've been thin, and you've been now you're in this perfect shape. And it took a lot of effort to gain that, or how is it like? Did you
right? So what I yeah, like you said, I've been in both ends, right? I've been skinny, I've been fat.
Yeah.
What I like. Most of the time, I like to experiment with my body, so that way I learn. And before I try something on a client, I usually test on myself, right? So I don't know if you probably have the image. So I put on a lot of weight just to lose and see how far I can push my body. Just before my last competition for Australian national titles. I lost, as I remember, I lost about 17 to 18 kilos. Yeah, that's the one.
Is that you?
Yeah, so that's in 16 weeks. So I lost about 17 to 18 kilos, and I won national titles after that.
That's you, right?
That's right, yeah.
Wow.
So I competed in national bodybuilding, so I won the national titles. As a fitness model, naturally, you can change your body, as I said, a lot. Yeah, you need some dedication, and if you do the right thing, it's not that hard.
Right, so these are the medals you have won, I think.
Yeah. That's the national gold medal.
I think it's shining, is it? Yeah, it should be
Yeah,
shining.
it's very shiny.
Yeah. So we can explain one by one, and also we have another one, you say?
Yes. What's this one?
That's also
I think that's
something.
the state championship.
State championship.
And that one, the other one, that's
another
also a national title.
Right,
National
that's
medal.
also something. Hope you can see it. Yeah, so these are all Australian, and you won all these, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So many national titles being
Yeah,
won.
I won national title twice now.
Well, okay. So, Guy, now we also see, this team new start.
Keep coming up, hey.
Yes, it keeps coming up.
Right.
And it's definitely on your t-shirt as well. So.
Yeah, it's something I take very proud of.
Well, okay, so we would like to know, what is this whole
so Team New Start, I started basically a few years ago. It was just me when I started it. Now we have lots of members in 6 different countries right now. I started this the main purpose is to get the right message out there. especially promote the natural body transformation and natural bodybuilding and natural competing, everything natural. So it's just educating people on the right thing. That's the main purpose of Team New Star.
Right. So also now, Grant, now before they consult you, generally, what kind of a meal should a person have to call it healthy and proper?
Right. So again, going back to my previous point, it's different from person to person, right? So we all different. Let's take, for example, just take coffee, right? So most people say coffee is healthy, coffee is unhealthy. The question is for whom, right? If you have that enzymes, you can break down caffeine. Coffee is good for you. But if you don't have that enzyme, then it becomes toxic for you, right?
Oh,
so again, it really comes down to the person, right? So you can't really eat this, eat that. You just have to really look at persons, what they're doing currently, what what's working. You just really have to work with the person and figure it out.
So it depends from person to person from about this thing. And Guy, now when you're talking about the food, sometimes they say carbohydrates are good, or sometimes they say proteins is good for a specific time period in the morning.
Yeah.
So how does that differ?
Right. So the protein, the word comes from the Greek word proteos, meaning primal importance, right? So it has in the word. So protein is the most important thing for our body. The problem, especially in Sri Lankan, like we never get taught, right? So we never get taught. So as a nation, we don't eat enough protein. That's a big issue. I like to have some good amount of protein with my first meal. It could be either eggs or some meat if you like to eat for breakfast, because the first 30 grams of protein you eat in the morning go towards your immune system, right? We all know how important the immune system. It's not just for losing weight or other things, as in health, right? It's our defense system. It's very important for us. So the stronger immune system you have, it's easy for us to lose weight and build muscles as well. So yeah.
So now, talking about this meat thing, coming into play. Now, there are also certain set of people, like sometimes the doctors, recommend for them for their particular body structure, maybe because of certain disease they have, not to eat, certain kind of meat, especially maybe, chicken or usually fish they recommend. But how does that differ?
Okay,
then?
so it's something we will, when it comes to how ethical it is, we will never find the answer for it, right? Depends on the person you talk to, all will give you different answers, right? How I say it, most of the time doctors say don't eat it just because of the quality of the meat, right? So especially in Sri Lanka, I know the chicken is like very bad. Most of the time they inject a lot of hormones and stuff here. But
exactly, I was going to say, now in Sri Lanka, to have liver, it's a very high demanding food to have liver. But at the end, the liver collects all the toxins.
That's the issue, right? So it's just putting an effort to extract quality food, right? It doesn't matter where you live in the world. Food quality matters, right? So if you can get really good quality meat, I mean, I've never seen I look at research very often. There's no single research proves that meat is bad or meat cause cancer or anything. It just comes down to the quality of the food. If you obviously if you have bad quality meat, it's going to cause problem. But if you have good quality meat, like organic grass-fed meat, then it's no problem.
Right. So quickly, go and tell us how to contact you.
Right. You can find me on social media. Instagram is Gayan323.
Okay.
You can search my name on Facebook. It should come up. And I have two websites. You can go either www.teamnewstar.com or www.gayanpera.com.
All right. So these are the ways you can connect with him if you want to lose weight. Right. So Gayan, thank you so much for joining in. It's been a great pleasure having you. Also, we got educated, both of us as well as the viewers out there who wants to lose weight. It's been great with you and had a discussion. So thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you very much for having me. I had a good time.